Hey, I'm Joe. Welcome to the first episode in my series of podcasts, which hopefully will be a series. Hopefully you guys pick this up. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, First of all, I just want to introduce you to myself. I'm Joe. Anyone who's interested in chat about nerd stuff, Marvel, DC, wrestling, crappy monster movies, anything like that, I am super interested in. Low level autism, so I get obsessed with a lot of stuff. Me and my brother, Andy, we're hoping maybe tomorrow to do a review of the All In wrestling event, which happened 2 nights ago. We loved it. It was a big, huge, global phenomenon, really. Biggest non-WWE wrestling event in the last 17 odd years. I don't think TNA have topped that, so yeah, we got to talk about that. I mean, I might do a WWE related one every month after every pay-per-view. Not entirely on wrestling, but wrestling is a huge thing for me. A lot of people, hopefully. So wrestling, that's going to be a part of it. Marvel and DC, or comics in general, I would love to sit here and talk about Marvel or DC movies or comics, as long as it's not The Dark Knight Rises. That's my one thing. Marvel, DC, I don't have a preference, so I'm not going to have anyone say, you're doing more Marvel than you are DC. That would be a coincidence, because I have no preference. Star Wars. Sci-fi. Big on that. Most of my friends are big on that, so hopefully they'll do it with me. My brother Andy's going to do the wrestling one with me. Hopefully I can get some friends to talk about Star Wars with me. Monster movies. Would love to talk about Godzilla with people. King Kong. Godzilla vs. King Kong's coming out. I want to talk about that. Maybe do a trailer review for the new Godzilla film. That'll be a thing. Film commentaries. I want to do film commentaries on Marvel, DC, anything of the previous things I've just said. That would be awesome. Comment what you guys would like to see. I'll try and get back to everyone. Probably got all 5 of you. Hopefully we'll see more people than that. Video games. I'll play some video games. I might be able to do some reaction videos, etc. If I play Arkham Asylum, I will shit myself probably. Have a lunatic jumping out of an air vent or something. That'll be real fun. You can hear me scream like a little girl. I do scream like a little girl. I have a very high pitched voice when I want it to be. Basically, I'm starting out with a podcast. Just me and a phone. No technology. No editing equipment per se. This is all one take. I know, I'm such a good actor. Actually, this is take 47 or something. I don't even know. I mean, I messed up so many times. But hopefully this is the real thing. What is a podcast? I'm going to be talking shit about stuff that I find interesting. And most people don't. I have autism, so I talk about what I'm interested in, and people look at me blankly usually. But hopefully there are like-minded people out there who are super interested in stuff like this. Hopefully there is. What is a podcast? I don't know what a podcast is. Again, I've not Googled stuff. There is no script. I mean, I'll make notes for tomorrow's all-in pay-per-view review. We're going to give it ratings out of 5 or 7 if you're a Dave Meltzer. I don't know if I can say 7 stars for any of the matches, but we'll go through that. We'll do movies. We'll give movies ratings, reviews. Comment what you want me to do. Probably do one, but we'll see. So yeah, the All-In event was yesterday, about 34 hours ago or something. I don't know. So we're going to do one as soon as possible while we're still in All-In fever. I just want to say Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks did a tremendous job organising that. That was fantastic to watch. You can hear a lot of technical difficulties. Anyone who didn't watch that on American TV probably had technical difficulties. We missed the first match. We're going to review that tonight. Big wrestling fan. So if anyone wants to talk to me about wrestling, tweet me at Joseph Costin, I believe, or is it Joe Costin? I'll get a official on that in a second. But yeah, Google it, try it. I'm a big fan of all wrestling, whether it's WWE, which some people might have a stigma on WWE. They have the best actors, maybe not the best wrestlers, but we have the Daniel Bryans, etc. TNA, before it went to what it is now, was a tremendous company. I have a lot to say about TNA. WCW, ECW does not stand for extremely crappy wrestling, which, you know, some people might say. I mean, I think it was something WWE don't necessarily offer, and it was just what people needed at the time, you know, something grittier, you know, hence why Batman, I think, is doing better than Superman these days. People want something darker. They don't want the traditional good guy, bad guy thing, you know. Want to see a good guy gut a few people, you know. So, wrestling. No, so I will do a lot of talk about wrestling. I'll probably tangent into wrestling. I do a lot of tangenting, you know. If you watch a Ross and Noble show, I'm going to do something like that. Music is a big part of what I'm going to be talking about. I'll talk about a lot of music. Mostly into pop punk rock. I'm probably going to do one on punk rock as a whole genre. Talk about music in general that I like. Underrated bands. If you listen to Fresh Talk, the Army of Freshmen podcast, they do an underrated bands one. And a lot of the underrated bands I listen to is because of them. So, you know, it's on this app, Podbean, I'm using. So I really want to do some on music. I play in a band terribly. Don't know if I want to talk about my band, but I might talk about my favourite bands: Bowling for Soup, Simple Plan, Patent Pending. Anyone who's toured with Bowling for Soup, I probably listen to. Who become a huge fan of. There's a whole tree stemming from Bowling for Soup. You know, I'll go see Bowling for Soup with opened by Patent Pending, or opened by the Dolly Rots, and every time they do a tour, I'll listen to whoever opens for them, and then there's a whole tree stemming from Bowling for Soup, probably. You know, so they're the big one. I mean, I want to do something on 70s punk rock. I'm probably getting into the Sex Pistols and the Ramones right now, you know. Hopefully I can do one on the history of punk rock, you know. A lot of times you see podcasts and they do something from when something formed until now. I'd love to do one on wrestling in general, from the territories to now. Movies, I could do Batman 66, Michael Keaton 89, Christian Bale, probably not, I don't like that one as much, all the way up till Ben Affleck, who I think is amazing despite what people say, and I hope they keep him on, even though it looks grim right now. I'm going to look back in 4 years and just say, I can't believe I thought they were going to fire Ben Affleck, but I don't know, hopefully they won't, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, anything, I'd love to talk about that. Music, I don't know. I'm not just into punk rock though. I mean, I'll put a little bit of metal in there, but I like some weird stuff though. I mean, I'm not afraid to say I like a lot of pop music, not necessarily what's in the charts right now, but I mean, late 90s, turn of millennium. I'd love to sit here and talk about Britney Spears, but I mean, it's a PG show majoritatively, so I probably shouldn't. Comic books, I want to talk about comic books. I don't just watch the movies, I do read the comic books, whether it's online or actually buy them. I have a comic book store in town, so I'm starting to read a lot more comic books. Again, Marvel, DC, but it's not exclusive to Marvel and DC. I mean, I love a lot of things. I mean, because you've got Dark Horse, you know, you've got Marvel shoot off, you know, Vertigo or Max or something. I'll talk about that. I'm going to get the Star Wars comics. Apparently the new ones, they're really going into some level of detail into before Star Wars, so I'd like to talk about that. There's a Godzilla comic I haven't read yet, but I mean, I'm about to do a first reaction to said comic book. That'd be super awesome, actually. I might do that. That'd be cool. I mean, I wrote my own comic book on Facebook, actually, about me. I was in it, but a younger, more obnoxious version of myself. My brother Andy and his friend Ali, working in a corner store, kind of like Clerks, but it's all true stories, you know, they're horrible customers they used to get in. And that evolved. Every side character got their own story in the end, you know, and there was in that shot off. I did do a superhero. I did a spoof superhero. That was real fun to write. So, I mean, all sorts of things. So comics would be a big part. What is to come? Anything you guys want to talk about, comment it in this, and I'll see if I can talk about it. I mean, I don't know how much I've contributed. I mean, I want to do an hour for every podcast. I mean, I can do up to about an hour and a half, I think. But some things I'll take takes me 10 minutes to talk about, and I'll talk about 10 different topics. One topic may take me an hour and a half to talk about. I mean, Batman, I could talk for years on Batman, wrestling. I mean, wrestling is not just exclusive to WWE. I mean, I'll talk about everything to do with wrestling. Specific wrestlers, I could do a whole podcast on Triple H if I wanted to, there's so much I'm doing. Shawn Michaels. Let me say, everyone thinks I'm weird. My favourite wrestler is Bob Holly, so... I don't know why it's funny, but everyone seems to laugh at me or say, who is that? He was semi-famous once. Everyone's favourite mid-carder, surely. Yeah, wrestling will be a thing. Again, I've got no script. Sitcoms. I would love to talk about sitcoms. The Big Bang Theory. Friends. I'll probably go into Friends. Everyone's like, why have you not watched Friends? I'm like, I'm going to watch Friends. I've been binging it on Netflix, so Friends will be a thing I'm going to talk about. It's all fresh in my head right now. That 70s show, possibly my favourite sitcom. If you watch that 70s show, you may have watched The Ranch on Netflix. Netflix has just made everything. Like, no. We should do a podcast on Netflix, shouldn't I? I mean, fucking Daredevil. Do one on the Defenders. Again, Netflix have their own sitcoms. I love The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I mean, I don't know if I want to do an hour on that. I could do about 10 minutes on that. We could just talk about Netflix in general. Netflix have their own Godzilla movies now. Which apparently is just to keep Godzilla active, according to D-Man 1954 on YouTube. But I mean, again, I want to see loads more Godzilla movies. I mean, they teased Godzilla, Mothra and King Ghidorah in that movie, so I don't know if 3 movies are really enough to contain the whole universe that they've built over the last 50, 60 odd years. But I don't know. Netflix, there's so much good crap on Netflix. I mean, I got a free Now TV pass because I pre-ordered WWE 2K19 Woo edition. Comes with a piece of Ric Flair's robe, etc. I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean, I'll talk about that game when it comes out. I might talk about 2018. I've not actually played a lot of 2018. I mean, it's like I bought it late because I forgot to pre-order it. I don't know, I've been playing more of the 2017. I mean, probably. I'm not saying one game's better than the other, but I mean, I'm going to go head first into 2K19. Tell you all about that. They've teased GM mode. Me, Andy, and maybe some other of my friends might do a GM mode if they have really brought it back. I don't know, it's all rumours right now, but that'd be awesome. If you've watched Up Up Down Down by Xavier Woods, him and Tyler Breeze have got a GM mode that they're running together, and that's fun to watch. I mean, Tyler Breeze knows what he's doing. Xavier Woods doesn't know what he's doing on the GM mode, so he's probably going to get flattened. I'm not seen the end of that yet, but I mean, maybe you can catch up, I don't know. But yeah, I've tangented Netflix. Netflix wasn't even part of my list of notes, I've just done a whole 5 minutes on that. Again, video games, I mean, I'll play a lot of video games. I mean, WWE I play mostly, Batman Arkham series or the Telltale series. I mean, I would love to talk about Telltale in general. Brilliant video games, I'd love to talk about all of those. I don't mean there's so much I want to talk about it. I mean, like in TV shows, like non-comedy or non-superheroes, but I mean, I watch a lot of stuff, so I mean, I'd love to watch that. I mean, I'm on Star Trek Next Generation right now. I'm not as into Star Trek as I am in Star Wars, but I could probably talk about that if you guys wanted. But we'll see. I mean, I'm going to talk about all sorts, hopefully. Hopefully I'll do not just podcasts, but I'll do some film commentaries, film reviews, trailer reviews, video game reviews, etc. Yeah, I mean, all sorts of stuff. Comment it. Hopefully somebody will comment on this and just say, other than I suggest you do one, somebody might say, I suggest you do a podcast on Batman. And hell yeah, I'd love to do a podcast on Batman. But I mean, so I could do a podcast on Batman. I could do a podcast on Robin. I could do one on Alfred. There's so much I could about all of these such rich characters, but nobody wants to hear me talk for that long about that. But I'll probably do an hour on Batman. Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, so that's what's to come. Expect me to talk about a lot of crap. I talk about a lot of crap. Low-end autism, probably. But I find this stuff super interesting. Hopefully you guys will find me talking about it interesting, That would be really cool. I want to do a segment on what song of the day. I know what my song of the day is today. I'm going to say Punk Rock 101 by Bowling for Soup, because they're my favourite band, and I used it as a sort of theme song for this first one. Not that I'm going to use it every time, I'm going to have a different one every time. Probably should write one, shouldn't I, I'm in a band, but I don't know. I don't know how you write a theme song. Jarrett Reddick is the most lackadaisical podcast theme song, and if you listen to Jarrett's show, he's like, this is a podcast, so, I don't know, the Army Freshmen, I think, have just bossa nova or something, something non-copyrighted would be awesome. You just copy some music and just be like, the Joe Talking Shizz show. It'd be Joe Talking Shit or Joe Talking Shizz, depending on if I'm being censored or not, I don't know. Again, I'm doing this just for fun. I'm not doing this as I'm not being paid to do this. I don't have any deadlines. I don't like deadlines, but that being said, I am a sellout like that. If you guys say to me, I want you to do one every week for 2 hours, and you have to fill in, oh hell yeah, I will sell out for money. The only thing I'm not punk rock about is everything else. Punk rock, I don't want to sell out because that isn't punk rock, but you want me to do a podcast every week? Hell yeah, I'll do a podcast every week if you want me to. YouTube, if you give me a deadline and tell me how to edit stuff, I'll do YouTube every day if you want me to. I have a lot to talk about. Don't know if you guys want to listen to that, but I have a lot to talk about. So I'll say officially Song of the Day, Punk Rock 101. I want it on this day in history. I don't know if there's anything necessarily relevant, but I thought it'd be really interesting. I googled one thing on this day in history. Most interesting I found was today was the day that England declared war on World War II. I think declared war on Germany. Don't know what's the on that. World War II. Britain declares war on Germany after invasion of Poland. France follows 6 hours later, quickly joined by Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and Canada. Actually, a friend of mine moved to New Zealand because it's more neutral, I think. Can't say I blame him, So that's the end of that. So yay! War started on this day in the 1939. So that's a grim one. Hopefully, I'll have a more exciting one for you next time. 3rd of September today. That's about what happened. For those who are watching it a week in advance, 5 years in advance. If you're watching this in 50 years in the future, can you send a time machine to me right now and tell me that this podcast is doing okay? That would be the funniest thing. I'll be 90 years old and I'll still be talking about cartoons probably. I want to do one on cartoons. I watch a lot of cartoons. Scooby-Doo, mate. I'll talk about Scooby-Doo. The Flash. I could do a whole thing on The Flash. Probably a little bit more in love with Grant Gustin than I should be for a straight man, but what can I say? The man is gorgeous. What's new with me? There is no news on me, but I will update you next time because this is the first one. All I can say is this day, I started a podcast today. Hopefully it will kick off. Andy will have something to contribute to that. What's new with Andy? He's going to do all in with me, hopefully. Hopefully his schedule's open enough. Probably going to record that either tonight or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow, maybe. We're going to try and stretch it out for an hour. We're probably going to do it, talk about every match individually, then sum it up. I'm going to rewatch the pre-show because of the technical difficulty we had, so we'll have probably more detail on the Battle Royal, etc. It'll be really fun. Though if you guys have no idea what I'm on about, that's cool. I'm going to talk about it anyway. But I don't know. If you guys are interested in something like wrestling or superheroes, but you're not into it yet, hit me a question. I'm not saying I know all the answers. I don't know nothing about nothing. But if you just say, Joe, I want to get into Star Trek, which series should I start with? Probably the first one. I don't know. Do it in chronological. I have no idea. But, ask me a question. Somebody comment, Let me know there is a world outside of this phone. So that's the kind of thing that I'm going to look for, That's what I'm going to do. Hopefully you guys are excited to hear about what we have to talk shit about. That's official, the first proper episode, or would it be, is this episode 1? The next episode, if that's not the first episode, will be the All-In Wrestling pay-per-view. We'll string that out for an hour, I think, I'm only going to do this for about 20 minutes, so I'm going to call it close in a minute. But yeah, that's all the kind of stuff I'm going to be talking about. Drop comments if you want me talking about anything else. I mean, I don't know if I'll have anything to contribute to a specific subject. Shakespeare, I don't know if I could talk for an hour on Shakespeare, but if you guys wanted to hear it, I'd give it a crack, I'm a sellout like that. Again, not much in the way of technology. I'm just literally recording this on my phone right now. But maybe I'm going to do more editing. Maybe I have more theme songs. Every time somebody drops an F-bomb, I might try and beep it out. Probably not, I'm not offended by swearing. I have a mouth like a sewer, but I mean, those I'm not going to knock those who do. I mean, everyone's offended by something, and I want to try and, not make this offensive as about anyone. We should do a podcast on stuff that is offensive. I mean, we could just say, you know what? You know who I hate? Racists. I have an ism towards racism. We'll say racists, they're dickheads. Homophobia, they're dickheads. I have dickheadism, I think. I'm like, but you're a dickhead, Joe. Maybe. No, hopefully, I don't know, next time I'll have more to contribute. I won't be on my own. I'm on my own today. Get used to my voice, so when there's somebody else with me, you won't be too confused about who's saying what. Again, I've got a voice like a little girl. This film is my voice sound really nasally. It's like if I was talking with my fingers over my nose. Sound a little bit like Velma. Where's my glasses? I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, I would say I don't sound this irritating in real life, I promise you. So yeah, hopefully we'll differentiate. If they've got a deep voice, that's not me. If you can hear a high voice, it's either a woman or me. I've got a lot of I've got a tight section of friends, and they all probably want to talk about something. I mean, everyone has their own area of expertise. I wouldn't say I have an area of expertise. I dabble in everything, to be honest. I've got my friend James. He'll probably talk about way more wrestling than I could talk about. Andy would love to talk about history. I mean, when I've said my in this day in history was on the Second World War being announced. My brother, he is ahead of information for stuff like that. He'd love to talk about history. I think he'd love to talk about that. If anyone's seen Big Bang Theory, Sheldon's web series Fun with Flags, he would love to do a Fun with Flags. I mean, I probably won't do it. We're probably not going to do that. But I mean, because it's been done, and we're not going to copy people, even though I'm probably copying Fresh Talk right now, I don't know. But yeah, all of my friends have an area of expertise. I mean, if I want to talk about grunge, I've got a friend who would be the head of information for 90s music and pop culture. I mean, that'd be awesome to talk about. I love in the 90s. I'm stuck in the 90s. So, I mean, anything 90s I want to talk about. I mean, anything at all from the 90s I want in on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if these are all going to be limited to one podcast each. I mean, wrestling, I could do a lot of podcasts on wrestling. I might do one on WWE. I might do one on WCW, TNA, ECW, independent wrestling now. Independent wrestling now is probably bigger than it's ever been, ever. The UK wrestling is bigger than it's been since like Big Daddy was going. I mean, World of Sport is back on TV. I mean, World of Sport, I wouldn't say it was the holy grail of British wrestling. It's probably ICW in Scotland. But still, I'm just so happy it's on a TV show aired every week in the UK. Well, for 10 weeks. I'm just so happy that shows like Glow are on Netflix. I mean, because if Orange is the New Black is like one of the biggest shows in the world, not just on Netflix. So if those guys can create a show about a wrestling company that actually happened, that is amazing to me. I mean, I'm just like, thrilled that they can do that. And it's a popular show. It's a good show. I've watched it. So yeah, maybe I'll do one on Glow. I don't know if I could do a whole hour on Glow, but it'd be fun to do. Do 10 minutes on Glow. Do 10 minutes on stuff I don't know anything about. So then people can say, but you didn't mention this because I didn't know. But, we will see. That's the end of my list of notes. So that's what you should expect from what I have to do in the future. So expect a podcast tomorrow, a full hour one. Hopefully I'll carry on doing podcasts. Hopefully I'll start doing some stuff for YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. Send me a tweet at Joseph Costin or at Joe Costin. Try both. I'm trying to get my Twitter up now, actually, so I can get you the official app for you.
So if you want to, it's at Joseph Costin, capital J, capital C, JOSEPHCOSTIN. You'll find me with Jarrett Reddick from Bowling for Soup. I think he might be my secret father. I think my mum may have been a groupie in the 1990s and decided, this is going to be my baby daddy. So yeah. So tweet me or comment on this podcast here. Tell me what you want me to talk about. Or stop talking, maybe. I will stop talking in a minute. But first, yeah, Twitter. I mean, I'm not on Instagram. I have an Instagram, but I'll probably go on it like every 6 months or something. So if you comment on Instagram, I will reply to you eventually before I die. Hopefully, I'm not hit by a bus tomorrow. So yeah. Tell me what you guys want to hear about, and I'll talk about it. I mean, I'll reply to every tweet. I might even follow you back, because I'm lovely like that. Fishing for follows. Yeah. Hit me up. I think I'm all about done here. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for the all-in review with ratings and my brother Andy. You can't see this over the phone, far more popular brother than I am. He'll have a lot to contribute on the subject, so I'm looking forward to recording that. Hope you're looking forward to listening to it. J-Man out.